But so we get to the next portion of the movie where we see Goku. They mention the Tournament of Power, and Goku wants to get stronger after his battle with Jiren. And this is where we get the little cool quick image they show of all the people from the Tournament of Power. And we go to the current day with Broly and Paragus. So I'm gonna say here, it's been like what 45 some years, because I think 5 years passed after they were stranded on there, and then they went to Goku showing his story. Man, I don't know how much protein was in them bugs, but them dudes after 4+ decades were shredded. I mean, even Paragus was old.
It was 31 years.
He still had the body of a Greek god, just eating bugs. I mean, these guys were shredded. It had to be all organic. All organic. These guys come into a bodybuilding contest. No steroids. Everything is 100% organic bugs from planet Vampa. I mean,
you want to know what's the scary thing about that too? There's no water on that planet.
Yeah, no water. I mean, what? I don't know. I guess the blood had great protein and kept them hydrated. It was just crazy. It was a great introduction to the introduction of adult Broly. I love how when the bug tries to attack Paragus and he's like, Broly, miles away, boom, kicks the thing. Love it. I felt sorry for Paragus though when Chilai and Limo arrived, and he's like, I never thought we could off this cursed planet. I thought this was great stuff, and then they eventually come on here. So yeah, before we get to the Frieza stuff that happened on the spaceship, this is another great funny part. Our friend the Man 001 was cracking jokes all through the movie. And when Chilai first sees Broly, they show the shot of it. He looks up to me and he whisper yells, "Thirsty." She was mesmerized, and people I saw joking online like he hasn't probably had a bath in 40 years and stuff and everything. But yeah, she was mesmerized by Broly, and Chilai would definitely turn out to be much fan service as we go on here. But yeah, how did you guys? Let's start with you, Kat. How did you enjoy basically the whole scene of Goku and Vegeta reflecting a little bit on? Oh yes, how could I forgot? Before we get to that point, I love the interaction. Shout out to Sam once again with a great performance when he's talking to Goku. And he was like, what? This is a great look at the character development of Goku. Goku wants, once again, still for his own selfish reasons to get more stronger. Vegeta, for once, he's out because I want more power because of this idiot decided to wish Frieza back to life or something like that. He's like, how many times are you gonna call me an idiot, Vegeta? As many times as I want, dumbass. Oh man, we were all cracking up in the theater. Yeah, what was your as they reflected upon the turn of power, the interaction between Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, our introduction to adult Broly? What was your thoughts on that whole scenario, Kat?
Oh boy, so immediately I love the dynamic of which Goku and Vegeta have come. It really started in the Buu saga for me towards the end, yes, where I really started to love their interactions. I love this whole Vegeta's the aggressor and Goku's just the best buddy. Why are you so angry? I love that. And I love that they really touch on, like you said, this movie does such a good job with giving you so much with so little. So in that one little scene, you really see how good their dynamic is now. You know, it's not just about Vegeta being pissed at Goku all the time. He has a good reason, but he also they get along. You know, I can't say Vegeta's like, I love Goku, that's my best friend, he's the best Saiyan I've ever known. But he cares about the guy, and they do such a good job of showing that dynamic. And of course, Bulma. I love Bulma. I love when she's on screen. I'll tell you guys, I am such a huge Vegeta and Bulma fan. I love that. So anytime that they're on screen together and you get to see how far they've come, I'm all for it. Little Bulla or Bra, whichever name you prefer to call her by. I love seeing all of that.
I love Brawl, the original Japanese version.
Yeah, I like Bra too. I don't like the name Bulla, and I say Bra, but sometimes, you know, when I talk about it, they're like, who? I'm like, Bra, you know. But I do appreciate the whole naming the whole briefs after underwear, so I like to stick with Bra.
Right.
I just loved all of that, and I loved how you see Broly, aka the Jason Momoa of Dragon Ball. It was really Chilai is a thirsty alien girl, but how could she not be? Once again, Jason Momoa of anime here. We got little Steve Carell, little 40-year-old virgin Broly, and she's just like, oh my goodness. And I love how you said about how did he get so jacked? How did he get so ripped? Just know that the Paragus workout plan appears to be very strong because he is very, very well taken care of. And you're just like, how? But once again, saying sometimes you just have to chalk it up to, saying. And I appreciated everything that they did here. I love the little small montage of here's what happened throughout Dragon Ball. Here's Goku and Vegeta. Here's where we are now. Immediately after the Tournament of Power, it just seemed very well calculated. Really good startup to how this movie is going to go. The only part that I still make a joke on is when Trunks is calling Bulma and she goes, what does he want? And I always answer with, but that's your son, Bulma. It also shows that probably Trunks is a nuisance and I wish he would grow up a little bit more, but you take
I wish they physically grow up. Oh my God.
I mean,
like 3 years before the ending of Dragon Ball, I have ranted and ranted about this every single time I talk to Super. Even the guy in front of me was like, has anyone noticed Goten and Trunks are still not grown up? He should look the way he did in the TV special. But but I'm not gonna sidetrack. We'll go ahead and finish up.
Oh, that's all I have to say.
All right. Before we move on, next part, then Linux, what's your thoughts on the whole scenario?
Just the biggest kick I got out of coming from that timeline was just it was literally business as usual for Goku and Vegeta. Like they started off fighting, just sparring, and I always get a kick out of that because I don't care what setting you put them in, whether they're with Whis, whether they're being serious, they always fight as if they want to kill each other. Not to mention the fact that Bulma also had an island created specifically so they could fight and not destroy something. That I laughed so hard when she said that. Cause I was like,
Bulma got that money.
Bulma got that.
She was like, yeah, this is like 86 meters away from West City, so the boys can fight out here and not wreck anything. They can really let loose. I'm like, you did what? Bulma really let loose equals planet is gone if they really fight. But I agree with Kat. I love the Goku like Vegeta bromance that is like slowly but surely forming between the two of them. The interactions are hilarious only because everything that Goku isn't when it comes to being a logical, planning, like tactical fighter, he has in Vegeta. And everything when it comes to like just emotion, raw talent, just like kind of going with your heart type of thing, the stuff that Vegeta's slowly learning to do, he has Goku there as kind of like his perfect counterbalance. So I like seeing that. And I also like seeing Whis' interactions with them more. Just because you really get the teacher-student feel from Whis when it comes to him training them. Like, and I even love the setup, going back to what you said, because I think you and me both laughed at this, son. When, he has Goku says, Tournament of Power, open my eyes. There's no way I can stay at my current level. I'm fired up. And then he asks Vegeta, and Vegeta's immediate response, well, I just want to get stronger to destroy Frieza.
Vegeta has grown to fight for others than himself.
But what makes it so funny is that no matter how many times Goku has been proven wrong, he still didn't understand why that was bad.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that scene the best. No matter what, Goku was still Goku. He did not see what the problem. He even took up for Frieza in that conversation. Like, what?
Right.
And then doubling back over to Broly, just the introduction to Broly, as far as like what we've seen with him just kind of just being there in the first movie, to like him just right off rip one-shotting a spider. like I love it because we know he's been doing
dude,
this.
I was just gonna cut in and say it reminded me of Castaway. If you remember with Tom Hanks, like he struggled so much to get those fish, and then they do 5 years later, and boom, he's a pro at catching it now. That's what it reminded me. Like, yeah, he should be a pro at catching these killing these things off now.
Exactly. No, that hits the needle right on the head because he took down a spider as a baby, but now. Like, this is nothing. Like, it's to the point where Paragus is like, I don't even have to fight this thing. Broly! And he just comes in. It's like the equivalent to calling your kid into the living room to get the remote for you. That's basically what that was for Paragus.
Little Jimmy steals out Tom's toy. Mom!
That's basically what that was. Yeah, but I love that scene. But once again, it goes to what I said. I didn't pick up on it until like my third view, but it's another instance of Paragus just using Broly. He wasn't in any danger, but sure enough, I got my son who's super strong. Hey, you take care of this thing. You know, so...
Right. It was good. Definitely. We'll move on to the spaceship stuff here. Another great introduction here, you know, with, I really like the story dynamics, because this is where they started saying that, hey, Paragus is not really, a father who we thought was just out to protect his son. There seems to be he's a jerk about it. They put the new armor. You know, you had Paragus stepping in doing his best Buzz Lightyear impression. Oh my gosh, his color scheme matched Buzz Lightyear. I remember people picked up on that. Let me see what else we had. So we had them in the part where they're in with the in the lounge and everything, and this is where my friend who was sitting next to me, my second viewing. So Chilai's explaining the Saiyan armor, so she like pulls it back and it just like bounces right back into her boobs. And my friend was like, "What the?" And I was like, "Yeah, so Saiyan armor basically can expand to any size, even when they go Ozaru." And that was our first take in this movie that they're gonna end up having the fan service in here, and they even did a little sign with him, like they are really trying hard with this with Chilai and Broly here. And he had the part where the drunk guy, because I think she explained, and I really like that Chilai and Lemo are good people. They're just trying to join the Frieza force and just get away from the life that they came from, and like, because I like how, but yet you still got some jerk who was trying to hit on her and he was drunk, and then Broly stood up, and this is the part of the movie where everybody was like, "Oh snap, you done effed up now." He literally choked this guy to death almost, and then you see Paragus, they paid the homage to how he basically settled his power down early in the original movie, and that like shocked Broly. And Paragus really not that strong of a warrior that Chilai. How are you looking down at Chilai and not notice her arm goes into your fanny pack, or I should say the fanny pack of beats, and steals it? Like, okay, yeah, I remember when they mentioned his power level of 4200, you Linux were like, wow, that's nothing. So we got that whole scene there, and they go off to planet Earth, and before we get to the big fight scenes and all that stuff, I thought a lot of this was really great for Broly's story. It's too bad my friend couldn't join us for a 4-person panel, because I would have let her do the recap of the story of Ba, because she cracks up at the story.
Oh my God.
She cracks up at the Ba story. It was actually the second most emotional thing to me when they explained that Ba is who he played with, because it was the noise that he would make, those little those things that go through the ground, and that Paragus shot its ear off, and so that's why he wraps it around his waist, which is like, I guess that was their way of wrapping something around his waist, because he had the more royalty Egyptian look in the first movie. And I thought that story was sad, because that was his only friend he ever had, and I thought it was sad. But yeah, of course, if you think it's funny too as well with the story of Ba, that's his name. Yeah. I thought though the whole scene here was really great introduction, seeing him talk about he never had water, and I love when he ate the chocolate bar, and because he's never had real food before, so he ate it like a savage. I thought it was really good for showing more character development between Broly and Paragus. And what was the other scene? I think there was one more scene I may have forgotten in this. No, I think that's pretty much covers about everything. Linux, what did you think? I see that you thought the story of poor Ba was bad as well. What was your thoughts on the Frieza spaceship scene?
The story of Ba hit me right in the feels, man. Like that was sad.
Yeah.
That was really sad. But like, just going over to the whole story development of Broly, like, once again, this is me. I got everything I wanted out of this, because I got Broly. Like, the fact that he talked when Chile asked him a question, I was sold. They didn't have to do they could have ended that scene there and I would have been happy, because he actually had a train of thought he was able to speak coherently. But going into some of the stuff that Broly does that I really, really liked, I like the sense of morality he had, like of wanting to protect somebody who's done something good for him. Because I love the scene. Broly isn't provoked when the guy is first talking. He's provoked when the guy touches Chile.
So I made her uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Because if you notice, like, the guy's doing nothing but talking trash about him and Paragus, asking Chile, like, why is she hanging out with these losers? He's the most fun guy on the ship. She needs to come with him. And when she says no, if you go back and watch it, Broly doesn't move. It isn't until he leans over her and grabs her. It's like, come on, let's go have fun. And that's when he gets mad and walks over. And I love the line they have him say, too, because it's so simple but so effective. When the guy's like, oh, you got a problem with me? And Broly steps up right to his face, and he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And just proceeds to grab it. Like, he literally grabs this man by his neck. Like, just one-hands him and is choking him. Like,
yeah, good stuff, man. Kat, what about you? What's your thoughts on the scenes they had on Frieza?
I really love the space station scene. I love seeing the little mess hall that Frieza's workers are in. You know, I also really, like he said, I really love that you see that Broly is sticking up for Chile and sticking up for her. And like you said, in the special, we see Broly as just, you know, so strong and so brute and doesn't really care. So seeing him stick up for this lady that he, in a lot of ways, just met was so touch warming, and it started my love for Broly. This scene really made me go, maybe I like this guy. And started, because knowing, you know, thought I knew how the original story was going to go, I immediately started getting conflicted. Like, oh, do I want Broly to go away? Because I remember the movie and Broly don't make it. Is he going to be all right? Because I really like this guy. And I really appreciated that. I love that they showed that. I love that this wasn't just a movie that was just going to show you Goku fighting and Goku and his friends and Vegeta coming in. They were giving you atmosphere. They gave you a sense of almost what it was like to be on Frieza's ship. I appreciated that entire scene. I thought it was very well done. Very good.
Yeah, definitely. You even see that there's people who are on the Frieza Force just because they feel it's better than their life at home with Chile and with Chile and Limo. I thought that was really good stuff. And you see Broly even still cares enough for his father, because they're like, your father's a jerk for doing this to you. And I was in the theater looking at him like, man, a jerk. But then you see the part where he goes like, you know, it's still not right of you to talk about him. He is my father after all. Yeah, there's just so many more layers to the Broly character. With the storytelling and all this, and I think the fact that we went on this long about just the all the stuff that leads up to the big fight is really incredible. Just show you how much, and I love that we had this much depth into a story, and hats off to Toriyama for writing this. Like this is really great. I love to see more of this in Dragon Ball. Definitely.
Hey,
and then
guys, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. I'm going to take a small break away, just 10, 15 minutes or so, and I'll be back.
Sure, not a problem.
Okay. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I promise I'll be back.
Oh, it's all right. All right, well, Linux, we'll continue here and break down when Frieza arrives on his spaceship, and I was totally right about it, by the way, Linux. When I said, what's the purpose of those jackets? They look cool, but they end up taking them off away. And I think we only got about a good 40 seconds of screen time with those jackets, because the second they get out, Goku gets out, he's like, whoa, that's cold. And then immediately takes it off anyway. He's okay. I thought I loved beerus being the babysitter as the plot device to write him out of the reason why he's not going to join them in spectating the fight. I thought that was great. I'm a god of destruction, not a babysitter. Oh man, I had to be cracking up. So we get to the part where Broly and Frieza, they arrive, and I love the stare down with Frieza, Goku, Vegeta, and they're all doing these serious looks on their faces, and Goku goes like, because, you know, Frieza says, you know, he was on a very repugnant planet, and Goku goes like, I've just got one question for you. What's repugnant mean? And the look on Frieza's face. Oh, the whole setup to it, and then we didn't even get the line "Do it, Broly." They got us in with that teaser, but he sicks Broly after him. Your thoughts on this scene before we get to the Vegeta and Broly fight?
It's just Goku being Goku. Everything up to that point, from him chasing the guys who were carrying away the Dragon Balls, to Vegeta's second most badass scene in the movie. Instantly hops out the plane. Guy tries to fly away. He doesn't even hesitate. He just shoots it down.
Boom! Yeah, that was great. And Goku jumping on the spaceship and breathing hard on it. They're like, look at that death stare. Yeah, did you notice Funimation went back to doing, because they don't do a lot in Kai, but they went back to like giving characters that don't matter. They went back to making them, give them funny voices and accents and everything. It felt like 2000s 90s and 2000s Funimation dubbed Dragon Ball. Oh
yeah, and that's what makes that scene just that, like, it's such a small scene, but it's so good. Only because of just it. Once again, you get that just like brotherly interaction between Vegeta and Goku, where Vegeta's like, nope, not this nonsense. Shoots it down.
Which is great to hear from you.
Because
I mentioned to you in the last time we did like a pre-discussion, I was telling you about how my friend, she was saying that she loves when Goku and Vegeta are fighting together, are getting along together, and you're like, nope, I don't. And I'm like, oh, let me guess, that's because you're not much of a Goku fan. You rather see Vegeta beat Goku. So it's nice to hear that you've come around to this.
They're entertaining to watch. They're very entertaining moments to watch, and it's only because you get to see where their personalities differ on a lot of stuff, but you also see how it kind of takes both of them to come up with the best decision for a situation. Like, and we'll get into this later, but just the decision that they have on how to like get away from Broly to come up with a strategy.
Oh yeah.
They didn't talk that entire time, but both of them were thinking the same thing. Because you get the little line when Goku flies by, and he's like, you with me, Vegeta? And Vegeta's like, oh yeah, I'm right with you. We didn't know what they were talking about. We just thought they were running away. And then when that happens, you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
It's that chemistry. It's like if you guys are wrestling fans, if you ever hear any of Trish Stratus and Lita's interviews, they stated that they wrestled each other so many times, they just knew what each other were thinking. And I think that's the point Goku and Vegeta have gotten to. Hey everybody, SONGOSHUAKU'S here! If you enjoyed this sound clip, click the link here in the video to listen to our full podcast review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. Also, links to all our social media is in the description below. Lastly, subscribe, followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released.